Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Wednesday, November 25th, 2015. Ra here in the Lynn life, Black Wolf and Pan in the Jamie-Body-Mind, other teammates and other aspects of the physical dimension, all of us in the physical dimension and in the subatomic levels of the physical from the perspective of the spirit world viewers. All day today we have been working with the topic of bigotry and with the assignment of upgrading the standards of integrity in the search for truth pillar to that which will allow us to manifest the divine plan, and most particularly to meet the deadline of the start of the Advent season, to have this pillar as clear of untruths as possible by the start of the Advent season, so that we can then go back into the projects and work again, one humanoid at a time, one life form at a time, to manifest the divine plan. We can work together and accomplish more than we can as individuals. As all, our foundational intention is to do what is ours to do in all dimensions right now, to manifest the divine plan. The data clearly showing what's needed is to provide a collective restart. Wiser minds above acknowledge that nothing happens without a deadline, and so the deadline has been set by wiser minds above for January 17th, 2017, as the date by which a collective start. They don't like that.
No, they don't. That's what's going on.
They don't like that. It's still true.
That is still true.
Wiser minds above have acknowledged that nothing happens without a deadline, and so wiser minds above have set the deadline of January 17th, 2017 as the date by which a collective restart is needed. And it doesn't matter that you don't like it. That's still true. It's still true. We can feel the viewing audience from the spirit world doesn't want to hear
That's true.
that a deadline has actually been set. Look, it's an inconvenient truth from our perspective, true, but it's still true. It's still a reality. That is the deadline, and so in order to meet that deadline, we must have a series of nested deadlines, because it won't happen if we just say, okay, by then we'll manifest the divine plan,
That's
provide
true.
a collective restart. We have to start in a workable fashion, and so we have the projects, cordoned off life forms, who we are attempting to use the only working tools we have to inspire them to live their soul plans, fulfill their destiny, do what's theirs to do and nothing else, so help them God. And to do that for at least one of the projects by the winter solstice, which is December, I believe, 22nd this year.
That's true.
Wow. Deadlines are still there. The deadlines are still there. We don't have to like it. The reality is the deadlines are still there. With that, it begins. There's just so much resistance.
Black Wolf here. I think it's also important to note that it's not just spirit world presences who are wanting to deny that the deadline is there.
Good point.
Those nature realms gods are also leaning into, Jangi's leaning into.
Oh, you're right.
We're missing out on a huge source of opposition.
We're ignoring a huge source of
That's
opposition.
true.
I don't think we're
No, we're not
missing out
missing
on
out.
it. We're
No.
getting to share in the pleasure,
That's true.
but we're ignoring it. Okay, we can cease to ignore it.
That's true.
What do I know? I know that these lines between spirit world and nature realms are becoming extremely fuzzy.
That's true.
We now discover that the nature realms actually has a cadre of gods, quote unquote. Now, if a cadre of gods isn't a spirit world community, then I don't know what is.
That's true.
Those nature realms gods, quote unquote, are the spirit world of the nature realms. And we find
that's
that many
true.
of them are higher souls of presences here. And presences here don't want to listen to them. The nature realms presences here don't want to listen to their own higher souls
That's
any
true.
more than any other physical presences do. It doesn't seem to actually make a difference what our community of origin is. It
That's
seems
true.
that by and large, what's under the Band-Aid, the hidden truth is, I don't want to do it. I don't want to live my soul plan. And it doesn't matter what dimension we're operating in, that I don't want to do it still flares from the most surprising corners.
That's true.
Well, this is what the Lynn Life has said from in the library, the years and years and years of healing practice. She said it's all the same. There's no difference. Humans, non-humans, machines, buildings, animals, plants, humanoids, it's all the same. It's all the same. Same issues, same patterns, same solutions. There's no difference.
So what now?
Each of us in the subatomic level that we are working in to just screen up for the biggest, globbiest lies, the untruths, and to burn them through Matushi.
That's true.
And anyone who's holding on to those big globby lies and would rather leave with the lie than let go of the lie, now is the time to leave. And we're not going to get hung up on name badges or faces. We're simply going to pull out the globby lies, and whoever goes, goes, and whoever stays, stays. What do I know? I know that the levels of consciousness affiliated with planets are not only aware of us, they are kind of smaller than the levels we're interacting with.
That's true.
And so those must be universal consciousnesses or something like that. And I know that we can see past them as well. We
That's
can
true.
live stream up past the universal consciousnesses. So it's possible the universal consciousness levels are burning clean of lies, or having the first burn to clear lies.
That's true.
Possibly, it doesn't feel like just the planetary consciousness.
No, it feels much bigger.
It does. And so probably that which is larger than universal consciousness is burning possibly for
That's
the
true.
first time. The first burn is often really big. It gets the tinder.
That's true.
But I also know that when establishing a healthy ecosystem that hasn't been burned for a long time,
Yes.
once we begin controlled burns, it takes many years of controlled burns before we have what is actually a natural and healthy ecosystem once more.
That's true.
The first fire can be hugely damaging, and there were, for example, wildfires out in the West.
That's true.
After there had been 100 years of fire suppression, and a lot of trees died that didn't need to die because of the phenomenon of fire suppression. And then now where do we start? Well, we have to start with a fire. That
That's
first
true.
one's going to be a doozy.
That's true.
And to you who would rather leave with the lie than let go of it, we suggest what we have suggested to Glenn and to others, is go into a Vipassana retreat center, into the body of a Buddhist nun, with the intent to help her find the truth about herself and her life, and in so doing you'll share the simultaneous healing of a search for truth in a gentler fashion
That's true.
than we are using here in the Search for Truth pillar, because we're working to a deadline, and in Buddhist meditation there is no deadline, there is eternity. It just doesn't work. That's why Buddhist meditation doesn't work.
That's true.
There's no external confrontation,
That's true.
and there's no deadline. The job isn't getting done. If the souls aren't willing to engage in a true search for truth, then that's better than nothing. Go support a nun. And why a Buddhist nun as opposed to a Buddhist monk? Because there's a huge amount of gender bias in Buddhism, and so the monks are more likely to be gross than the nuns are.
Christianity refuses to acknowledge the truth of reincarnation,
Right.
believing that we only have one life.
They don't believe that. They pretend they believe that.
That's true. Pretending
The
to
church
believe
leaders
that.
know what Christ taught.
They know.
They know.
That's true.
They're lying about it.
That's true.
And if they don't know, then shame on them, because they haven't done their studying.
That's true. So by definition, if they're lying about that, they would have the deadline of the end of this one life.
But they don't act
But
that
they don't
way.
act that way.
Mm-mm.
They
They
refuse to acknowledge reincarnation exists, but they also refuse to act as if at the end of this life there's a real accounting, the final accounting.
Right. It's a disgusting
It's an excuse to
sham.
lie.
It's an excuse to lie.
That's true.
It's being used as an excuse to lie.
Thank you.
People will take anything, even something as beautiful as the true teachings of what Charlie taught in Christianity.
That's true.
He taught beautiful things, and they have been twisted almost beyond recognition, and they're used as an excuse to lie. People who are determined to lie will lie.
That's true.
That is the question for all of us. Are we willing to let go of lying? Asha says we've got to assess where we are.
That's true.
Is Pan still in the pillar? If Pan is below frontier, Betty Jean would be able to see him.
That's true.
He looks really small compared to Betty Jean.
This must be the aspect of self that didn't hang on to the lie and get carried out.
Well, okay. I see others.
I do.
They are very small compared to Betty Jean.
Like ants.
They might be in the level that we were referring to as deeper treasures.
That could be.
All right. Well, it looks like our entry level is shifted down without us being aware of it.
That's true.
All right. The entry level is no longer at below frontier. It's in deeper treasures, that subatomic level smaller than below frontier that we have been referring to as deeper treasures.
That's true.
So that's where the welcome mat is, and now that's where we are to watch for the wizard's shoes.
That's true.
Someone up there is really trying to get my attention, but whatever he or she is saying doesn't feel true. That doesn't feel true to me. Let's
No.
bifurcate for all those who are intending to do the work as assigned by wiser minds above to specifications in every moment, and bifurcate much higher than we've been. Much higher. I see how disappointment is a big energy drain.
That's true.
How it's really disheartening to have an experience like Pan being put in a psychiatric institute for the criminally insane after being misled into murdering his own followers.
That's true.
And all of this was occurring at the hands of, quote, nature realms gods, unquote.
That's true.
And his takeaway from it is, why is the spirit world being so mean to us? That's disheartening.
True.
That's disheartening. I almost don't know what to do with that. That's somebody who's determined to hang on to a lie.
That's true. That's what that is.
Well, this was what caused the breaking point with Luce. This may very well be what eventually leads to the breaking point with Pan. If he can't give that up, we're done. We're really done. Well, he could give it up if he isn't willing to give that up. If Pan isn't willing to give up lying, we're going to have to part company.
That's true.
Why would he be any different? Charlie didn't give it up. Luce didn't give it up. Why would Pan be any different? I can feel a vibration that is different about Pan.
That's true.
I can feel it. I know that I'm not imagining that different vibration.
No,
and
it really is different.
I believe that that vibration shows that he's more likely to be willing to give up the lies.
That's true.
We have to keep him segregated from his old high school friends because they pull him back into a whiny boy state that is really unpleasant to be around.
That's true.
But the Pan that I know is a pleasure to work with.
That's true.
We'll see. There's just big exhaustion here.
That's true.
And it just feels like this work is never going to be done.
That's true.
It actually isn't. Well, this is the whole point. The whole point is that a collective restart actually is needed. This just proves it over and over and over again.
That's true.
What's it going to take? Probably a collective restart.
That's true.
And I also know that clearing at the subatomic level does make it more possible for the bigger levels to give up their own lives, but they have to choose to do so.
That's true.
How high will we have to reach to find a person of true integrity? A presence of true integrity. Over and over. This incredible push-pull.
That's true.
Because what's under the Band-Aid is, I don't want to do it.
That's true.
Right. How's that working? Very poorly.
Not well.
It's not working for anybody.
That's true.
Keeps those people trapped.